G'day, my name's Chris. Welcome back to Flat Tank Journey. Welcome in my little shed in the middle of summer. It's been warm this week, but I've been slugging away doing a little bit. I got a funny video for you this week. It's in two parts. I've got the end of the brakes, finally fitted the spring, got it resolved. We're ready to have a test ride. That's cool. And for those who've been thinking about it, colour reveal. I've actually painted the guards and the tank, and they've gone off to a sign rider. So I've got those to show you, and I've got parts to go to the chrome plater. If you're looking just for the colour and you're sick of seeing brakes, it's at about 6-minute mark. So you can shoot through to that and have a look at it. Enjoy the video. I'm looking at mine on my last confusing jobs. It's attaching a spring to the brake mechanism to pull the brake shoes away from the belt rim. So you can see how it works. When you push down on the pedal, it pulls both levers and pushes both blocks into the brake rim. So the images I've seen show a spring. Some show one and some show two. So in essence, what that does is it pulls the top shoe away from the belt rim, and at the same time is pulling on the lever that operates the bottom shoe, so pulling it forward, which, as you can see, pulls it away from the belt rim. I think one spring's enough. Now, these are karting exhaust springs from the past. I used to know a little bit about karting. My brother road raced, and I'm hoping to be able to attach that there. I'm thinking of using a split pin. I don't actually know whether it will hold. It might hold for a while, but I don't know whether it'll hold super long term. I'm thinking of drilling a hole, threading the split pin through, pulling it through, and tying it off at the other end. These are stainless, so they're quite good quality. I suppose with the benefit of hindsight, I could have welded something to it. I could have done something else, but I didn't. My other option is to drill a hole and to thread a small, so this is 1/4 inch. I suppose you wouldn't want more than 2 mil, 3 mil. 3 mil wouldn't leave a whole lot. So I'm going to try drilling it first and see what happens. I suppose if worst comes to worst, these were made by me. I can make more. It's not the end of the world. So I just lifted the nut, undid the nut up here, and put the spring behind it and a washer over the top. Really secure, really pulls well. It's this end that's a problem. I'm going to take this brake arm off. First of all, I'm going to mark with an awl where I want the hole, and then I'm going to take it off, drill a hole, and see how this goes. Down here at the bench, I've got a little starry mark where I'm going to drill this hole, and I've got a 2.5 mil split pin, so I'm going to drill a 2.5 mil hole. Actually, the split pin's just under 2.5, so I'm going to try and drill a 2.5 mil hole, 2.5 mil hole down through that. I might actually take this up to the drill press so I don't cock this up. So this might give me a slightly better chance of getting this right. I've just put that into the vise, and yes, I'll probably damage the paint, and I should have done it before, but it doesn't matter. It's only paint. It can be sanded and repainted. I've center punched a small hole. Now I'm going to faff about for 10 minutes with anxiety in my heart until I think that's in the middle, and then I'm going to drill a hole. Well, normally I'd come back to you waxing lyrically about how well it went, but it didn't. It broke 2 little spotting drill bits clean off, and my experience with high-speed steel is once you've broken them off, you're screwed. You're not going anywhere. Anyway, move the hole twice. Now the hole is about 8 to 10 mil longer than further away than I wanted. It's a bit more tension. Let's see how this goes. Not well, maybe. Well, I've just got the split pin sitting there, and I've just tightening up the adjuster bolts on the brake arm. Sorry, all a bit wobbly, and I'm trying to show you as I do it. I think you might enjoy it more. So the split pin goes through and holds the spring, and the best bit is it actually works. That's unbelievable. Now, it does pull away, so the split pin would need to be, solidly twisted over at the back. But I think I'll do that after I've repainted the rod, because, I have to cut the split pin anyway. So, you can see the two little holes. Oh, they're not actually holes, they're just dimples. I'm going to leave them. I'm not going to lose sleep. I'm just going to leave it alone. I think when it's all tightened up, the adjuster nut's really cinched up, the whole thing's going to work really well. I can't believe that. Good result. Moving on. All right, in front of me is painted stuff. Now, I really haven't shown you this because paint drying's bloody boring. The guards, well, they've come up really, really well. I'm really, really pleased with them. You saw me sand them, I edge primed them, and then I was working on the bike with them. They came off, and they had a couple of coats of primer putty, and then 400 wet and dried, 600 wet and dried, and then they've got a gloss black enamel on it. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, I probably wouldn't have put the enamel on them. I wasn't paying enough attention. I should have put an acrylic black on them so I could clear over the top. However, the finish is bloody magic. It's really, really good. I'm really, really surprised. They don't need a cut or a buff or anything. And that's as good, if not better, than what they looked originally. I just can't believe it. Anyway, it was a rattle can job. I bought 2 rattle cans from the local automotive store, and I did a lot of preparation work. They're not perfect, but they're really, really good. I'm really, really pleased. Now, the tank in the background. So, let's move this. Trying desperately not to bang them into one another, because I have done it before. Here's the tank in paint. Now, it's an acrylic paint, and I was looking for French Air Force blue or an Air Force blue. I've been to the paint store, I've had colours mixed, I've had them tinted, I've had a lot of things done, and I was getting somewhere, and the paint store was super. Really helpful, really obliging, and they put up with me and put up with me and put up with me. I was in the local large hardware store and I always look at rattle cans because I like playing with rattle cans, it's easy. And here was a colour called Deep Blue, an acrylic paint, and I think it's actually a roofing iron colour it's called Colour Bond, the product here in Australia, and I'm going to call it Air Force Blue when I tell the rest of the world, but for the 220 odd people that watch, you can all know that it's just a Colour Bond colour. And I painted it with a rattle can, and then I threw 5 coats of acrylic clear over the top, and there's a tiny bit of orange peel that I could buff out, but I'm going to see a sign writer first. So I'm really, really, really happy with the tank colour. Why do I paint with rattle cans? Because it's bloody easy. I've got a big compressor in the shed, and that's fine. And I've actually got a spray gun. But I find buying paint, thinner, gun cleaner, and you have cans everywhere, and you have a mess, and it's just a mess. Whereas I've got 4 or 5 rattle cans on the wall. I wouldn't have a combined $100 in it. Yes, it's expensive if you're painting a car, but I'm not I'm literally painting one piece. It cost me $12 for the first can, and I think I stumped up and paid like $22 for the clear. So I got $34 in it. I'm not unhappy. So, and I'm not unhappy with the finish. These are 20s bikes. The finish wouldn't have been that damn good to start with. So I'm off to see a sign writer who's still old schools with paint. And I'd really like Torpedo put along the side of the tank. I wouldn't have even minded a large pinstripe. So I'm going to see him or her. I'm not actually sure. I'm going to ask about the guards as well. I'd like a pinstripe put around the guards. I had CZs and they used to always have a stripe around the guard, and they look really good. So I'm going to take them to Geelong, which is the next town down. We don't appear to have any old schoolers left in my town, and that's okay. So I'm also going to go to the chrome plater and get some nickel plating done. Bear with me while I load this stuff, and then I'll come back and show you the chrome plating. Here's my selection to be nickel plated. Now I think it needs to be nickel, because I don't think chromium plate was done until the late 20s, and this is 22, so it would have been nickel plating. I think when they do electroplating, they do copper, nickel, chromium, and so the nickel's already there. The last time I did a bike, I did the Elliott. The Elliott was the last one I needed to do nickel plating for, and I did a lot of it. I did nuts and bolts, I did everything. But, and I'm going to say it's 4 or 5 years ago, it was $1,100. I nearly choked. I wasn't ready for how much it was. There was a lot of it, and I readily admit that, and I don't think I was overcharged, but it was more than I wanted to spend. So this time, I'm going to leave some things alone. Last time I disassembled the levers and had the chrome pulled off and had them nickel plated. I'm going to leave the levers the way they are. I think they're in chrome. They should be in nickel, but they're not. And there's all the nuts and bolts. I'm not doing them this time. So what I did decide to do was I decided to do the wheel nuts with the shoulder on the back, and you saw me make those. So that was easy. The fuel caps, they have to be done. They're sitting up large as life on top of the tank, and I can't leave them in manky old brass. They were never meant to be that way, so they're getting done. The fuel pipe. Now the fuel hose pipe thing just looks shit in copper, and it needs to be nice and shiny, and it'll just pop like a diamond. It'll look great. I wasn't going to do I don't know whether you can see them, the stays off the guards. I was going to paint them. And I was going to paint them in the black enamel, the same as the guards. But I looked at the wheels, and the tyres are black, the wheels are black, the hubs are black, the guards are black. There's just too much black. So I've got all 4 stays in here, the rears and the fronts, and I'm going to get those done as well. That's Flat Tank Journey for another week. The brakes have been a bit of a saga, and for those who are interested, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you weren't, sorry about that. The tank colour and the guards have come up really well, and I hope you like them. That's cool. Like, comment, subscribe, or just share these videos with your mates. Cheers. Have a good one.